What is going on, everybody?
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel.
Today we are going to tackle this side of the cabin. We're going to try to get all of the siding up on this side, as well as try to somewhat figure out the actual underneath rafters for this back deck.
Yeah, so there was some questions on our last video in regards to the siding that we chose and how we're gonna go ahead and finish it. And we're gonna answer that for you guys here real quick before we start work. So you guys ready? Let's get into it. All right, so it's impossible for us to go through all of the questions and comments that you guys left on our last video because that would just take up too much time. Yep. But there was a few things that was getting brought up multiple times and we thought we'd address it today. Everybody is loving this beautiful logwood siding, and let me tell you what, so are we, guys. It looks exactly like what we were thinking and what we were hoping for. I can't wait to see it all the way around the entire building, especially that mudroom. That's where everything is gonna like pop. Yeah. But with that being said, it going around the building, that seemed to be one of the biggest concerns. People really like the corner that you decided to do, but they're like, how in the world is Gary going to make these logs match up around the building so that way it looks clean and like how we are hoping for it?
Gonna be a little tedious, I'm not gonna lie. I did measure from the bottom going up to the bottom of all the window seals in the mudroom, as well as on the front wall, to this wall, to that other side wall, and everything to where it would be at the flashing. So my numbers from everything is within like a ½ inch, right around that ballpark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's should pan out. It should, you know, that's the magical word from per the numbers and everything. It should pan out. Now, when I get over to this side, if I'm off, even just say a ½ inch, nobody's gonna know. How would they know? If you're really looking at it and you're trying to pick apart every little thing like that, I can show you all sorts of things that I pick apart. I'm just saying, there's gonna be things like that. This is our first build ever. So if it's not perfect, I can't sit here and beat myself up over it, you guys, all right?
Standing in this position on this side of the screen, it looks amazing. I am so thrilled and so happy with how it's turning out. The nails and stuff, guys, they're not a big issue to us either. I think that it gives it character, it's beautiful, and we're just really happy with it.
You know what the best thing is about all these nails?
What's that?
On the exterior side, looking at my siding, I know exactly where all my studs are.
Hey.
So when I go to, you know, cut out my electrical boxes or my lights or whatever else like that, I'll know majority of where they are. You know, I mean, obviously I'm not going to do anything on the inside until all that stuff is fully done on the outer side. So to come, you know, in the future, but it does give me a really good layout and be like, yeah, there's no studs right there. Now, for those that watch a lot, you know, there is a lot of studs in these walls. But that I will be addressing that here eventually. So
Gary, you kind of brought up a little thing, the electricity, right? So Gary was just mentioning the studs and stuff in the walls. And another thing that you guys had brought up was, hey, what about your electricity? Are you guys not gonna have lights out there or electrical outlets? Where is all of that going? So with bringing up that whole 2x4 thing, how are you going to go about doing that, babe?
There's gonna be a lot to this, the method to the madness and whatnot, right? The biggest thing first is attack all of the exterior, get the exterior situated to where when I now come back and I drill my electrical boxes and everything else like that, or holes or anything else, I can seal that hole and really make a nice connection and everything else like that. And I don't have to worry too much because it's the finished product once I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So wiring will come, but as soon as we're done with the full exterior, we're gonna work on the inside, and it's gonna be perfect timing because it's gonna be that fall, winter time when it's like, all right, cool. I don't need to be outside. Everything's done outside. I can be inside and I can start working on a lot of that stuff. Electrical is just pricey more than takes a lot of time. There's a lot of little things to it, yes, but electrical goes pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie. Same thing with plumbing. Same thing with insulation. Same thing for a lot of these things. You know, siding is coming up quick. All right, there's a lot to it, but I feel like siding's one of those as well, that it's gonna be a fast process.
The only thing so far that doesn't seem to be very fast is all of the crazy prep work and studying and researching and gathering of materials and bringing it back and prepping it. We try to bring you guys along for all of these steps so that way we can bring you guys to reality a little bit on what it actually takes to do this. It's not always the most fun stuff. It's not always the most, you know, exciting stuff, but at the same time, it's very, very important. So that way, when the day comes, when you have all the prep work ready, it does just, you know, really quickly. So like we always say, there is a method to the madness, sometimes a little bit more madness than method. But at the end of the day, I'm super proud of what we've accomplished so far. I mean, when we first moved out here, it was literally just the woods. There was nothing but a quad trail, no power, no water, nothing but vines and trees and
you see all
wild.
You see all that stuff back over there?
Yeah.
You know? That's how it was.
You could barely even walk. Go back on our old playlist, catch up.
There was a 4x4 or a 4x4 trail, you know, where you can get in there, but you're getting whacked by a lot of trees and bushes and everything else trying to get back here. And our camper and our trucks and vehicles took a beating trying to get them up into this positions and whatnot to where we can work out of here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a long time coming, but I'm so excited to have this thing wrapped up, and it's coming.
Yeah, it's getting
there. The siding is coming up really nice.
It is. It looks fantastic. So Gary, when we said what we were going to do today, you were mentioning the rafters. So what exactly do you have planned for that?
So, I mean, ceiling joists, I guess they would be called, or rafter ties, whatever, right? Anyway, so as you guys know, I have a little overhang right here from the original trusses and everything. I would like to butt a board here, going all the way, getting it up on the top plate of this wall and tying it in to this joist with the bottom rafter, everything like that, and ixnay this overhang and making a nice even all the way to the actual header.
Yeah, so you're saying like connect a board from this piece right here as flush and level as it can be until that truss right there.
Yep.
So basically this would get chopped off, it would get connected, it would bring the ceiling down a little bit, but not a whole lot. It would just kind of change the angle of the dangle.
It would angle it a little bit less, you know, but I feel like it would be a little bit smoother. Now, another thing that I've been wrapping my brain around, and I might still do it, I know I did put this corner in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I almost want to adhere something here, flush up as flush as I can to this guy, coming all the way across at a nice level spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
To where we build up this little bit and sheathe this top part, do the same over there, and ixnay this corner a little bit and die into the corner.
Let me give you guys a better angle, see what Gary's talking about.
It would almost die into this corner right here, and I would just build the wall going all the way up, and we would sheathe it. And then when I put the soffit on this ladder system, it would butt up against it, right? And then we can log this side, making it look like a half wall. It would give us a little bit of protection with the rain coming in sideways, but I feel like it would look a bit better. I don't know if that's doing too much. What do you guys think on that? Should I do that or should I not? But this, I feel like we should definitely do. And I feel like we'd skip every other. So it wouldn't be 16 on center in here fully. It would be more like, what is that, 32 or 32 on center. And I would put a ceiling on this side. So that's what I'm thinking. because
Yeah.
I would like to have fans out here, you know, or some sort of lights or something. We get again a lot of electrical, right? So I'm trying to think ahead of time for that kind of stuff, and that might make it to where when I come in this way, it will give me my soffit spot a little bit different, which is partly why I didn't do anything with the soffits just yet, because there's some angle into the dangle with everything. Should I have this soffit go straight up, you know, just follow this curve coming up, or should I can't really come out straight, so I'm gonna have to come up. So there's little things where it's like, how should I do this exactly with the soffits? I've been wrapping that in my brain. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to go with. As well as precise as I am all the time, I gave myself a cock joint. So they don't fit just like perfect. I guess it fits perfect because I need a cock joint, right?
Yeah.
But same thing here, you know, so it makes it to where it will be nice and sealed and everything else like that. I'm excited about this siding though.
It's looking so good, Gary. It looks absolutely beautiful.
It's coming together.
It is. We've already been yakking for a little bit and we want to get to work, but we're gonna wrap the Q&A portion up really quick with this last one, and it was about the flooring.
Yes.
So we do have just the zip board system down. This was actually scraps from when we were building. They were kind of a little bit messed up pieces. This one got messed up though from when I took my epic fall.
Yeah.
But anyway, people are wondering what we are going to do with the flooring down here, because you were measuring for, you know, like the...
I'm on the line of whether or not I adhere this zip board better to the deck and then tape all the seams off and everything, and then put the decking that is waterproof on top of the zip board.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know that the big thing is that zip board is usually used for walls, and stuff like Advantech is usually used for flooring, which makes sense. But again, we were kind of using our spare materials for this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you know, we purchased this zip board to be used for this purpose. We actually used to walk on these beams just by itself. I think we put in the sliding glass door with just the beams out here, maybe like a 2x6 you were sitting on.
That was fun. People almost had a heart attack, it seemed like, in the comments, but I was safe. It's all right.
We got her done.
Got it in there and got it done. But
Yeah.
that's partly why I chose this specific sliding glass door,
Yeah.
because it literally has a flange on the whole side. So it's just like a window. It was easy to, all right, it's in. You know, it's there, and then plumb it up real quick and zap it in.
Yeah. So the flooring.
The flooring. So I'm really questioning on whether or not I'm gonna put some sort of substrate on the decking first before I put the decking on top of it. The decking that I want is called Duxpax, and it is a waterproof deck, basically, for the underside. So it's already got like gutters built into the decking, and they snap lock together. You know, Lexel all the points where you don't want the water to really be or anything else, and it drips off going down and out the other side. So it's a really good decking. It's pricey though. It's one of those where it's like, oh, but it would be one of those things again to where it's like, it will last a very long time. It's the Trex kind of board, you know, so it's that plastic type, but I'm questioning on whether to do the substrate first beforehand. Should I go with that kind of decking? Should I go with a different type? But I would like to make it to where this area right here is completely sealed, because I don't want underneath this deck to get wet.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, and putting it at that height makes it to where no matter what, when I go slide everything underneath it, it should be able to run on top of that and keep on going. So it's gonna be interesting, but that's partly why I flashed the heck out of that area with all the tape and everything.
I know, and some folks are curious if the metal down there is actually going to be counterproductive and trap the water in for you and then rot the bottom board.
So that shouldn't. the way that everything is and everything else like that, you want to have it gapped a bit. So I did leave enough to where I can gap everything off of the actual decking. So that's going to be fine. As well as I've got everything flashed. Like everything's sealed down there. So we did a really good job on all that. It's sealed. I'm not worried whatsoever on that.
Okay, one more thing. So about the trim around the sliding glass door and around the window, we decided that we did not want to put and build trim the same way that we did around this door. And again, method to the madness, friends, method to the madness. This door, there is no trim around it at all, so you have to make door trim. However, for the windows and the sliding door, it has trim. And we like the way that it looks and how thick it is. We didn't want it to be super thick. If you look at this trim, it's very similar in size. This white one's actually a little bit bigger than this trim right here. But we like the way that it looks. If I would have another piece of wood right here, it would be sticking out until like at least right there. So the siding piece would only be like the same size, like a sliver. And I didn't want it just to be like one big block right there. I like the way that this looks.
On that note, we have a lot of windows in this same scenario.
Yeah, like the mudroom in the front. When we were doing like the mudroom, the inside and doing our practice wall, right? That's when we were deciding on how we were gonna wanna do the trim and stuff and if we were going to trim out the windows or not. And when we were practicing in there for what we're doing right now, we started like looking at these sizes and stuff and we were like, man, the whole wall is just gonna be one post going up because of how close the windows are over there.
Which is why we needed a 3/8 inch furring strip.
Yeah.
At least, or at most, I mean. You know, I mean, we probably could have gotten away with a 1/4 inch, you know, but I like the 3/8. That gives us a really good air gap right there.
Yeah.
And with us seeing the side of the logs on this, it ain't that big of a deal. We still will have that flange covered. So we should be good and covered in that spot. This window is a little different than all the other windows. Yeah,
because that's the one that slides side to side instead of up and down.
Well,
like...
it's also a different make.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at all the trims and everything else, and it was all, that window's different.
One of these things are not like the others.
I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is the one that we bought from Home Depot, I want to say.
And the rest
came from Sutherland's. So there was that, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
But that's basically the reason on the what's, the whys, and the hows, and I guess maybe some of the whens, but the whens are always up in the air, so can't really give you a solid answer on any of that. But I guess I can say when for one thing. It's time for us to get to work. That's when. Now.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's get it.